This conference will now be recorded.
Suresh, may I know what topic we have done in the previous class? Is it deployment or anything else?
Only deployment, Sudham.
Replication controller, replication set is done, right?
Y- Yes, in the deployment
Okay.
replication also done.
Okay.
Scale, unscale.
Yeah, auto scaling, scale in and
Yes,
scale out.
yes.
So now we have understood the topics like what is pod, okay. So what is init container in the pod, how to create a volume for a pod, okay. And then we have seen what is replication controller, what is replication set, what is deployment. So now you know the current situation and you know how to create it. You know what is the requirement of the client or the customer, whoever it is, when there is a deployment of application. So based on the requirement, if it is really required only to create a pod, we need to just create a pod. The particular
Okay.
application functionality is just to create a pod and all. We need to require only a pod. That's enough. A pod is pod creation is enough. No need to go for replication or replication controller or a deployment or whatever it is. So based on the
Okay.
requirement, we need to use the Kubernetes object. Okay. So
Okay.
now, so let us see one situation and we'll understand what kind of scenario we need to define for this particular situation. Okay. Let me open the. So let us say you have a pod. This is just a pod creation. So we will define a container. Okay. We'll create some containers and we'll use some storage. Okay. Storage for this and we'll store the data. So that is what we have learned in the first class. After that, we let us say there is a situation that I don't want my application to be in a downtime. Okay, customer should not understand that if there is a downtime in the application, customer has to access the application without any downtime. But from our end, if there is one particular application down, automatically my applications need to be served, application requests need to be served from another pod. So how we can achieve that? By creating a replica. Okay, so that we have achieved using replication. So replication in the sense, same type of pod will be created, and if this particular pod is down, it will launch, it will fetch the data from this particular replication, in the sense from this particular pod. Okay, so this is a normal situation. Okay, replication set is also same, but replication set will come under using the deployment. Okay, so what is the advantage of using deployment? Deployment will not only create a replication set, in the sense multiple pods, and also if you want to upgrade your pod from one application, one version to another version. So let us say if you want to upgrade your applications, let us say now you are running with Apache 2.4, now you want to upgrade it to 2.7. So then this can happen only when you use a Kubernetes object called deployment. Normal pod, normal replication controller, replication set doesn't provide you this particular functionality. if you want that particular functionality, definitely you need to deploy an application with deployment. Okay, so you need to understand the requirement and then you need to decide which Kubernetes object we need to use. Okay, based on that, we will try to create a object. So now let's say what is service. Okay, now you have understood deployment and everything. Okay, in the deployment, it will create. Let's say we have this particular process. Let us say what is service. Now the next object in Kubernetes is nothing but service. So what is service? Okay, let us understand first. So now let us say client is accessing the this particular pod. Okay, it is able to serve the details and all. Okay, now when this particular pod is down, how the client will communicate to this particular server automatically? It is not possible, right? So something should load balance it. Load balancing in the sense, if this particular server is not able to access the details, then it should go to the second server, if not third server. Okay, it should activate. So this can be achieved normally not by deployment. There should be a logical functionality before this. It is called as load balancing and all. This load balancing and all can be achieved using service. Service is one of the object in Kubernetes in order to logically group multiple pods together under one platform. Pod is nothing but grouping multiple pods together, multiple containers together logically. Service is nothing but logically grouping multiple pods.
Okay.
Okay, so that is a basic difference. Okay, so let's see how to create a service from your end. Let's create a service. First of all, let us see we have a pod or not, and then get pods. I will delete all the pods and other Kubernetes objects we have, and I will create a fresh deployment. For the deployment, I want to create a service. Okay, so deployment in the sense creating multiple pods, and you can upgrade your pods at a time. That is what deployment means. What is service? Service in the sense logically grouping multiple pods.
Pods.
Okay, which pods it will logically group when you assign a common label. Okay, Suresh, you are asking something.
No, nothing.
Okay. It is a bit slow because maybe network problem. Let's see. So these are the two homeworks which you need to try. Launch a pod using CLI from CLI. See whether, instead of writing the YAML file, see whether we can launch a pod using CLI command or not. That is one scenario. Second scenario, launch a pod with one container to pull the code from Git, and second container should use the code. You understood what is the concept? You need to achieve like this. Here you can see the diagram, right? So we need to create a pod. In that pod, both the containers should have the same volume. File puller in the sense it is a Git. Okay, it is a Git container, and this is a normal web server. Okay, so you need to pull the code from the Git. So when you create a pod, the first container should pull the code, and the second container should be using that particular code which is present in the volume. So that is the scenario you need to create. Okay, so try it from your end. If you are not able to get it, I will tell you. Where is it? Replication we have seen. Replication set we have seen. Deployment we have seen. Horizontal pod auto scaling, in the sense it is kubectl auto scaling only. Okay, it's called as horizontal scaling. Now service in Kubernetes. So service is nothing but which like a pod. Okay, logically grouping multiple pods together under one platform is called as service. Okay, so by default deployment will use replication set. Okay, let's create a service. Before that, I need to, what is this? This is the service. Okay. Let's create a pod first. So here I gave you a scenario. So step is nothing but first create a pod with below details. Okay, with below details you will create a pod. After that you are trying to create a service. Okay, but here what now everything is deleted. So these are the YAML files which we have created from starting our class. From starting of the class, we have created these many YAML files. So here, where is the deployment? Yeah. So deployment -nginx.yaml. So let's open this. Let's see the cat and see information. So in this deployment, we are trying to create three containers, three pods. Okay. Each pod will be using the same Nginx 1.9.1 version. Okay. And the container will be exposed with 80 port number. Okay, so this is the deployment which you are trying to create. Okay, let's see. First of all, in deployment we have a file deployments or not. No deployments at all. So let's create kubectl by -f. So now the deployment is getting created. You can see there. Zero are available, in the sense they are getting created. Kubectl replication set one is ready, because Kubernetes deployment by default it will use replication set. Get pods. So how many pods will be created? Totally three. Now we can say replication set ready are three. Previously it is one and now it is three. What about deployment? Three. Okay. So this is all about your creation of deployment. So now if you try to use the describe of this particular deployment, you will see some details. Describe deployment. What is it? Nginx deployment. Okay. So this deployment is having, you can see here, deployment controller, scaling up replica, set Nginx deployment to 3. So this is what the deployment has been created. So now let's create a service and we'll see how this deployment are logically grouped. Okay. So in the service, the parameter, the kind is nothing but service. API version is v1. Metadata is nothing but the name of the service you are trying to use. Selector, this selector should be matching with the, I'll tell you, should be matching with the selector present here. Okay, then only it will group that particular all the pods together. If you don't specify this label, your service cannot pick that particular pods. See, your service has to bind it to some particular pods, right? Group of pods which are launched by deployment. So how it will come to know that these are the deployment related pods? It will identify using the selector. So this selector and this selector should be matching. Okay, so that's the reason we have written app nginx. Okay, here it is nginx. So here I need to rename it to nginx right now. So let's use this particular thing. I'll try to copy first and I will say you how to use it. So here I need to modify with Nginx. And remember, ports are nothing but protocol. As a protocol is TCP protocol you are using. This port is nothing but port used by your service port number. See, every service will be created with an IP address, that is virtual IP. Every pod will be created with an IP, that is for sure, right? So that particular pod IP will be listening on a port number called 80, which we have exposed. Container port colon 80 we have specified, right? In the sense, your pod will be listening on a port 80 number. So that port 80 of the pod is binded to 8082 on the service. So service IP, and if you give this particular port number, you can access the pod related information. Okay, so let's save this file and come out. Kubectl. Okay, now it is getting created. Within fraction of seconds it will create. Okay, now you can see it is created, and by default it is using cluster IP. Cluster IP in the sense the IP which is created by the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so the IP is this. This is the range. So let's use curl. Okay, and then port number 8082. So you can see the welcome to Nginx page. So you might be confused saying that it might not be the container information of that particular pod. So let's try to modify the applications we have used. So I'll try to modify the application, default application of all the pods. I'm changing all the three pods related default page. So let's exit from this, and now let us use curl command. You can it is giving this shit. Host name, in the sense it should get the host name. So let's do one thing. You can see the difference actually. It is load balancing. Here I would have written in a different way. Shit. can see actually it is varying. So let's now I'll try to modify with a different way. Uh, Now we have written a proper address. So let's log out and let us use the curl of the IP. Now you can see first server, third server, first server, second server, first server, third server, second server, third server. So it is load balancing equally to all the applications. Now let's say if any one of the pod is down or it is deleted, what will happen? Okay, let us see the describe of the service and then we will understand. Now we'll try to understand how it is load balancing it. Okay, so you need to, if you want to explain to someone, you need to understand it, right? So let us describe it. kubectl describe, okay, svc and my hyphen service. So here your service has been created. This is the IP address of your service, and this is the type which you are using, cluster IP. And here, this is the port which is exposed to your this particular IP address. So your service is listening on this particular port number. When you access this IP with this particular port number, it will redirect to the 80 port number of the pod. So how it will bind it? You can see the endpoints. Endpoints are nothing but the IP address and the port number of the ports which are attached to the service. So how many ports are there? Totally three, right? So the three IP address you can see here: IP address, port number. This is the first port, and this is your second port, and this is your third port. Okay, so these are called as endpoints. Endpoints are in the service are nothing but the pod IP addresses. Front end is nothing but this IP address. Okay, so the diagrammatically, if you want to understand it, let's now here there is a service which is created. Okay, here there are pods, three pods. Those are created with a deployment. Let us assume it. So these are created with the deployment concept. Okay, so if you want to name it, you can name it as deployment. Okay, so this is created with a deployment, and this is your pod. Let's say pod 1, pod 2, pod 3. Okay, so these are the three pods which are created as of now. Okay, and this is your service. Okay, okay, so this service is created with an IP address. When the service got created with saying that this particular label, okay, automatically this particular service is binded to this particular pods. Okay, how it is connected with the labels which we have defined. Okay, so now when your service is created, this service is having an one particular IP address. Let us say 10.98.11.48. colon, it is listening on 8082 port number. Okay, when someone in the cluster, this IP can be accessed only within the cluster. You cannot access from browser and all. I'll tell you how. If you want to access this particular service from outside, there is another concept. Okay, so meanwhile, this particular service, okay, when you access this IP address and with this particular port number, it will redirect to any one of the pod. How it is load balanced. Okay, so how it is load balanced internally, and it will give the details of this particular server one time, first second time this particular server details, and third time this particular server details. Again it will go to the first server again, so it will do like that. So these pods are created as an endpoint to this particular IP address for this particular service. So this IP address which are assigned to the pod, let us say 10.244.1.55, let us assume colon 80. Okay, I'm let's saying the port number, that's it. Okay, so now these are the endpoints. Okay, so these are the endpoints which are attached to your service IP. Okay, so now let us assume we will try to delete one pod. Okay, we will try to delete this particular pod, and we'll see what will happen when you. So you know, right, deployment in the sense it will use a replication set. What is the functionality of replication set? When it is it should have three pods running in the background. If any one of the pod is deleted or it is terminated, immediately it will create a new pod. Okay, when a new pod is created, automatically your service will pick it. Why? Because that particular pod is created with one particular label. Okay, when it is created with that particular label which is matching to the service, automatically that particular pod will be attached under this particular service. We'll see this example. Okay, so now you can see, right, there are three totally. So let's get the pods and we'll try to delete it, one pod. I'll try to delete this particular pod. If you want to, let us say, if you want to see the IP address of the pod, so that you'll understand. So I'm which pod I want to delete. Let us say 44, 10.1.44. So let's try to delete this one. So this is having 10.44.44. Okay. ctl delete pod. Okay. You can see here. Now immediately there is one more new container one more new pod is getting created. On which node? All of the three pods are created on one particular node. You can see here. At this point of time, it is a problem because all the three pods are created on one particular node. If that particular node is down, your entire pods are down, right? So then immediately it will launch on another node immediately because you are using a replication set. You can see here. Now this is using a new IP called 2.71. 70 is available, 69 is available. Previously it is 44. Now this 44 got deleted and it is created with 71. You can see here. Okay, the previous pod has been deleted. You can see here. This pod is nowhere here. It is deleted. So now you'll see the describe of the service and we'll see whether that endpoint is created or not, is attached or not, whatever it is. You can see now the 71 got attached immediately. Okay, you can use the same curl command and see for one server you'll get the nginx because we have not modified the page. Okay, so that's the reason it is still showing you the normal default nginx page. I hope you understood. Is it clear, Suresh, the concept of service?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. So this is all about your service creation. Okay, so no one is available. I cannot go to the new topic. So as of today, I will give you a task. So let us try to understand and then try to do practically from your end. Okay. So
Okay.
the question is simple. I'll paste the questions here and you need to solve it. Yeah. So these are the two questions. Just try to solve it. It is
Okay,
up to
sir.
you which method you will follow and all. So first read these questions and tell me if you have any questions. Will you implement this?
Yeah, I will try, Sudham. I will try.
Yeah, because the second question is something important which in real time we use it. Okay. So that's the reason I gave you. So try it from your end and tell me if you are not able to get it, then I will give you the YAML file. Okay.
Okay. One more question,
Okay.
some general question. Regularly, what type of request will get it for up?
Sorry.
What type of request you will get it in the real scenarios?
Request
Real
in the
time.
sense?
Real time in scenarios
No,
means
no. See, requirement
requests
in the
like.
sense it depends upon the application requirement. So that is how it will be. So normally you need to understand what are the things we have in Kubernetes, and then you need to take one of that particular functionality in order to achieve that particular requirement. Okay.
Okay.
When you understand the Kubernetes in detail, it is not so tough to understand the situation of the application. You can easily deploy it. Okay, I can guarantee you that. That's the reason I'm giving you one of the scenarios. Try this, then you will start thinking of it, which one will fit into my particular requirement, and then you will deploy it. Okay. So
Okay.
we'll go further and we'll give other questions also, then you will understand the requirements. Okay.
Okay. So
So first solve these
each.
two questions. Yeah.
So all the request you are going for the YAML file only, right?
Yeah, obviously we are giving YAML files. Yes. Because in the next class you will learn about Helm charts. All those charts will be created with YAML files only.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay then. Okay, Suresh. Tomorrow we'll meet at the same time and try to solve
Okay.
these questions. Or tomorrow at the starting class only, I will try to explain this and then we'll go forward. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll study about volumes tomorrow.
Okay.
Volume. So what are the types of volumes we have? In this, what is M-formal storage and what is persistent volume? And we will see the difference. Okay. I think we
Okay.
already discussed about M-formal storage. So I think tomorrow I will explain about it once again and then we'll go to persistent volume. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.